points scored on the play. No 2 points were scored. The Sounders got up there and win by a couple of bombers. This is action coming your way from Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in the city of San Francisco. It's the Bombers against the Chiefs. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer calling the action as we pick up the action here in the 5th period of play with 6:08 to go. The score is all tied up at 25 points apiece. We've got a great one going here. Chiefs and the Bombers, they explode whenever they face each other. Out here on the West Coast, and they're also looking forward to their big opener in the East when the Chiefs host the Bombers to start their fall season underway.
You know, every week we say, here we are at Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. We've had people write to us and say, isn't that where the 49ers used to play football? That's Kezar Stadium. That's right outside here. This is a basketball pavilion. Seats about 4,400 seats. It's 50 years old. And, Walt, many people don't realize this is where the mighty Bill Russell played all of his college basketball. Right here where these skaters are now skating.
Here we go again. On the jam. Roddy Hodney, she has a point in there. Moreland, McGuire, and Sandy Dunn. Had Saunders against the rail, had her pinned there. Here comes Tucker in there now to feel him out of there. And she's going to get it from Moreland and Sandy Dunn. And she's really being hammered. They had her hemmed in there, and the jammer went by for the point, Hodney. So the Chiefs lead 26-25. There's McGuire with another block in there. And there's Moreland, and we got Bombers on the deck all over the place. O'Connell going down there to see what's going on. Second with his skaters, grabs Carol by the hand, wants to talk with her. Carol Meyer had a tremendous first half for the Bombers. I think O'Connell's saying, get your brass knuckles ready to go to Houston before this is finished. So the pack's formed, the play will get underway again. Jammers trying to work their way out of there. Sandy Dunn is in the penalty box. Laura Suckers in the penalty box for the Bombers. Each team one skater short. 4:14 to go in the 5th period. Kathy Pulliam on the jam, 31. And with her, Judy McGuire, the flashing blonde, 45. Pulliam trying to get the inside blocking position. Lays a leg up there, an elbow. She's got McGuire going. Hits her again. McGuire takes a lot of going over, though, before she'll go down. Into the rail she goes. Crowd roars. Pulliam out of the penalty box. And Sandy Dunn and Pulliam went by her. Now, that could be a point. Or it is a point or a penalty. A penalty would also be a point. Sandy Dunn goes back to the penalty box. Pulliam should have a point in there. I don't know. Moreland blocking. Moreland underneath Moreland, crawling by her. Moreland tried to hook her with her skate, but Pulliam was able to get by. Sandy Dunn goes back with time run out. She held her block. Eaton drawing a penalty. He gets a knee from Saunders. Throws her helmet. Saunders is in. I don't know. Here we go. Look out. Oh, these gals really having a battle in this game. Bentley and Saunders, there was a point on the play, and it tied it up at 26 all. 2:55 to go in this period. And there's a right hand by Carol Meyer and McGuire. Carol Meyer checked the referees and laid a right hand, and Judy McGuire stopped and skated away. All in one motion. Oh, these gals, Gary.
Well, they're in their last series of the season here at home with the Chiefs, the Bombers are, and I guess they just want to get everything out in these last few games.
Here we go. Saunders is in the penalty box for the Bombers. They're one skater short. Chiefs have 5 out there. They get 2 jammers out. Roddy Hodney and Judy McGuire. Carol Venus Meyer to challenge them. Oh, man. Little Carol. She gets the lead to cut off the jam, but it's a tough job. That's why she keeps trying. There, she got through. She doesn't have to cut it off. Oh, she had already cut it off. Hands in the hips. That killed the jam. She could have moved. 26-26 the score remains. 1:50 to go now in this period. Judy McGuire and Hodney having a chat here about that last play. They didn't like the results of it. Sandy Dunn down the other end to tie her skate. He's up and rejoins the pack. Saunders back on the track for the Bombers. They're at full strength again. front. Carol Meyer behind her. Here's the whip. Judy McGuire to the inside. Trying to cut Carol off. Judy jamming almost every play here for the Chiefs. He's really working hard. Carol working on her now. Look at that backward kick. The elbow block in there. Judy is down. Carol Peanuts-Meyer moving by herself now on the play. Bombers have the only threat out. Score 26 all. 1 minute to go in this period. A pull away here by the Chiefs. The Chiefs with a pull away. They're out and they're moving. They're going to skate out the time in this jam. They're pulling away. Tucker is trying to catch up to it. Now Tucker taking things in her own hands, but she's decked by Sandy Dunn, who protected the rear of the pull away. They're pulling away. They're going to make it work here against the Bombers. Tucker in front of the pack, way behind now. She can be passed for points back there. She puts the block on. Look out! Look out! How much time?
I think they're going to call her for blocking more than 20 feet behind the pack wall.
That's exactly what they did. I finally found out when the officials call that play.
And they gave the whole lap.
There's no points awarded. Tucker was more than 20 feet behind the pack. No points allowed. That is the end of the fifth period of play with the score of Bay Area Bombers 26 and the Chiefs 26. Coming your way from Keys-R Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. Walt Harris and Jerry Seltzer here at the mic. On the jam for the Chiefs, moving John Early. Whipped after him, Tony Roman by Pete Boyd. Boyd flipping out the man who's given John Early a bad time in the first half, Tony Roman. Roman goes by. Early trying to pick up speed to stay with him. Bombers minus the skater. Penalty at the end of that girls' period. Costing the skater. Roman has got the back. John Early has got Roman. There's Pete Boyd. Taking a shot at John Early, 47. Sam Tiapulla back there, 42, blocking and Tony Roman. Another block by Tiapulla. Another block by Tiapulla. Roman moving to the outside. Tiapulla cuts him off. Hits him again. Pete Boyd still doing the job on John Early of the Chiefs. Lands him hard into the rail. Tiapulla working on Roman. Bill Grohl takes a shot at Roman, puts him down. Pete Boyd puts Early into the rail. 3 seconds. 2, 1. Roman with the final block there. No points scored. Early hitting the deck. Roman putting on the final block. It remains all tied up at 26 points apiece.
This period right now is starting out just a little bit slower than the previous men's periods. I think they realize that at the end of the eighth, the team that's in front is the most important. And right throughout this whole game, while both teams have been wearing each other down, especially on this men's team, they have been hitting and hitting and hitting. And the Bombers' tactics usually the first 2-3 jams to try and just hold that score down until O'Connell comes in.
And Chris Rowe is out of there first for the Bombers. Whipped after him, Larry Lee, 44 for the Chiefs. Also in the back of the Chiefs, Lloyd Turpin with the blocker's helmet on. Sam Tiapulla, number 32. Mike Hansen, 45 with Jammer's helmet on. He did not go out of the play. For the Bombers, Gil Ross was in there. Alan Miller, Jim Cook, whipped out. Larry Lee is down, and away goes Chris Rowe. Number 32 for the Bombers. Bill Grohl back to the block. Ex-ball player, ex-amateur boxer. Pretty good country golfer. Great all-around athlete. Larry Lee moving up there. Block in there by Gil Arasso. Arasso with another block on Larry Lee. This row is the jammer. Bill Grohl blocking. Moving in there and cutting off the jam, Larry Lee for 1 point. Arasso out on the floor. Bill Grohl doing the blocking, 1 Chief point on the play. That makes the score now 27-26. Trainer out there to check with Gil Arasso. He hasn't showed up yet. O'Connell, Roman over the rail. Dan Sale, there he is. He's getting up.
Well, yesterday I was up in Portland, Oregon. Of course, that's one of our great cities on our network. It's been on for 14 years now. A lot of great Bomber fans up there. Talking to Jeffrey Weinstein and a young man named Overback. They watch every week. And they said the only weeks we don't watch are the weeks when Walt Harris isn't on. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. I don't know if I want to go up to Portland again or not. I went through there, matter of fact, about a month ago. Many times. My home state. On on the jam, Joe Perez, and Bob Dansell moving on him. Dansell with the block on Perez. O'Connell keeping Giapulla from helping his teammate. Giapulla down, back in the pack, put there by Charlie O. Dansell is down, put there by Joe Perez, moving alone for the Chiefs now. Lead by 1 here in the 6th period of play. Tony Roman way behind the pack now, number 37. Goes Bob Dansell. The two Bomber Jammers are right back where they started. Neither one in scoring position, but the man that is, Joe Perez, 43. Roman blocking on Perez. Dansell, they're taking turns. He's down. He bounces up again. Roman sets himself. Another block in there. Perez spins around, gets to his skate. Dansell back there. Hammers a block in there. John Early trying to get back to help his teammate out, but Dansell gives him a shove. Another block by Dansell. Roman. Look at these two. Roman caught in the middle there between Early and Perez that time. Here comes Pete Boyd on the jam with a Jammer's helmet on. He scores a point. And he runs into Bill Grohl and goes down, but Pete Boyd has a point. Roman, 1 minute for penalty, 1 minute penalty for punching. And John Early will testify to that. Well, this moving wall got a surprising point in there.
All of a sudden he came out of nowhere, but that shows you the speed of that man. And again, O'Connell joins the Bomber team, makes quite a difference.
Roman just drew a fine. He'd already drawn a penalty as Early tried to get up. Roman came skating by and put him down again with a kick.
O'Connell is going to be the guest at the end of this game, and I'm sure he's going to want to talk about upcoming games the Bombers are going to be involved in. And, Walt, he told me at halftime he's going to use a play in the last period of this game that he has not used in 10 years, and should be a surprise.
In the last period, we'll look for that. On the jam, Alvin Mallory. Moving with him, Larry Lee for the Chiefs. Fine skaters out of this play. Charlie O'Connell with a big play to be used in the last period of this game. Try and take the Chiefs by surprise. Might be he'll need it to win this game. Look out. Pete Boyd blocking Larry Lee. Lee is down. Alvin Mallory being blocked out by Giapulla, number 42 of the Chiefs. Giapulla with another block. Here's Pete Boyd. Ooh. He almost hit Mallory. Recovered in time. Giapulla got out of the way. They're moving now on Giapulla. Time running short on the jam. Pete Boyd. Giapulla got away from him. Pete Boyd is down. Boyd up and moving again. Look at him recover. He hits Giapulla at the infield. O'Connell takes out Lloyd Turpin, though, and he's past the Mallory. Could be how many? 2 Bomber points in there. Mallory held up by O'Connell. Bombers scoring that time. The Chiefs got things a little crossed. So the score goes to 30 for the Bombers, 27 for the Chiefs.
If any viewers would like a free copy of the rules, or if you'd like to put your name on the mailing list to receive special advance information on upcoming games in your area, write to Rules and Mailing List, Post Office Box 1828, Oakland, California, 94604. Please be sure to include the city and the station on which you watch these games every week, and that will help us get either your rules or get you on the proper mailing list. We don't want to have you write in from Portland, Maine, and we send you information on games in Portland, Oregon.
Here we go. Tony Roman on the jam for the Bombers. Bill Grohl leading John Early out of it. John Early then gives a whip to Bill Grohl. And Roman cuts it off with the line, Bill. Well, it isn't often that Tony Roman will refuse a challenge. I think what he really wanted to do was just to have a laugh at Bill Grohl for working so hard.
Well, of course, Bill has a very heavy load to carry out. They're really the only big experienced man on the team. Sam Giapulla is coming along real well, but Bill's the only one with any size. If the Bombers can tire him down, they have both Pete Boyd and Charlie O'Connell.
Mike Gammon, a blocker up front. He's going to get the whip to Bill Grohl again, who's chasing Chris Rowe of the Bombers. Bill Grohl moving on Chris Rowe. He's got him. Down he goes. I thought he might cut it off, too. Did not, and Bill Grohl is in charge right now for the Chiefs. It's trailed by 3. Charlie up back there to block. Look out now. Look out. Blocked in there by O'Connell. Another block by O'Connell. Don't forget, we're going to talk to Charlie O at the end of this game. Another block on Bill Groh. Charlie O'Connell with another block. They're falling. Here's Mike Gammon going back there. Mike Gammon goes back, hits O'Connell. Hits him again. Groh hits him. Groh's passed him for a point, but he still wants to hammer him. And he is. He's still not satisfied. He's still working on O'Connell with the knee now. Bill Groh draws the penalty, but he got his point legitimately. Mike Gammon jumps at O'Connell. So Bill Groh draws the penalty, but it was after he scored his point. So the score is 30-28. I'll tell you that secret play is not really a secret. It just hasn't been used in over 10 years. So most fans have completely forgotten it. The one Jerry is mentioning that Charlie said he's going to use in the last quarter might have something to do with Bill Groh, I think.
Well, I think it definitely will, but I'm sure all the fans are going to want to stay tuned to see this game right to the very end, because with these two teams, the Bombers won so many consecutive world titles. The Chiefs have won the last 3 playoffs in a row.
That was Gammon hitting O'Connell and decking him again. Pete Boyd trying to get Gammon and grabs the chair for protection. Bill Groh takes a swing at Pete Boyd. He goes by and misses him. O'Connell is down behind the Chief bench. Pete Boyd being pinned to the rail by a referee. Bill Morrissey being warned. Mike Gammon might have got away with the last punch on O'Connell. The action wasn't underway, and officials were not watching all the skaters. We have only 2 minutes left here in the second period of play. Then we'll have the girls on the track, and man, they've had a wild first half and a wild fifth period. 30-28, the Bombers lead the Chiefs. O'Connell is up and limping across the infield. In the penalty box, Bill Groh, Mike Gammon got away with this action out there. He's whipping out. Joe Perez, chasing Joe Perez is Bob Dantel and the Bombers to at full strength. The Chiefs have 4 out there. So the Bombers are minus Charlie O'Connell. But Mike Gammon being worked on by Tony Roman. Roman bouncing him around at the rear of the pack. The rear of the pack. There they are. Roman in there, pounding away. Roman again on Mike Gammon. Again, Gammon hard into the rail, and over he goes. There comes Dantel to go by him for a point. Perez throws the block. Dantel gets away. He's already scored a point at Gammon. Cuts across the infield to rejoin the pack. I don't know if that's legal or not. Shouldn't be. Gammon slams him into the rail. Dantel moving on him again. Roman back to Roman to the block on Gammon. He's passed again. Bill Groh out of the penalty box, slugging away. Dantel is down, but he should have 2 points. Roman blocking on Perez. Groh. Perez hit by Groh as Roman got out of the way. Dantel up and limping again. Time runs out. Let's see if it's 2 Bomber points or not. Should be 2 points for passing Mike Gammon twice. When he went down, he did not rejoin the pack. That's the official, I think, is telling the official score and a public address announcer. That was when Gammon cut across the infield. He erased the lap, and he is vulnerable to being passed again. If he caught up with the pack and then blocked, he couldn't have been passed again twice for points, because he would have had to lap him again. So when Gammon cut across the infield, he killed that. And he is vulnerable again, and he is passed for another point. So that is the end of the 6th period of play, with the score of Bay Area Bombers 33 and the Chiefs 28. San Francisco, the Bombers and the Chiefs getting the 7th period underway with the score. Bombers 33 and the Chiefs 28. On the jam, Claudia Hobley out with her for the Bombers, number 33, Elaine Bonema. Each team with 1 jammer moving on the play. Blocked by Hobley. Bonema down and away she goes. Moving on the back now. Back to the block of the Bombers with Zeta Saunders, 36. Blocking Hobley, got her mouth open in a yell. Hobley moving again. Another block in there by Saunders. Coming on the jam again. Elaine Bonema, 33 for the Bombers. Hobley put the block on her. She stays up. Another block in there. Another block. Down they go. Bonema's up first. He's moving behind Saunders, blocking now. 2 seconds though. 1. No, out in time. No points scored on the Jam. It remains 33-28. The Bombers lead the Chiefs.
I don't think there's any doubt. Well, we're in for a wild last two periods of this game, and I'm really very curious what that Jam is that Charlie O'Connell has been talking about that he's going to pull in this last period that we haven't seen in 10 years. I can't think of any play that you and I haven't seen in 10 seasons.
No, but knowing Charlie O'Connell, we might have seen it and forgotten it, but if it's a good one, he certainly wouldn't forget it. We'll find out if the Chiefs remember it. 33-28, here we go. Coming up on the Jam and moving out of the pack, Carolyn Moreland for the Chiefs, 43 with her. Carol Meyer, 37 for the Bombers. Moreland with a block in there. Look out. Here comes Sandy Dunn on the play for the Chiefs. Moreland takes Carol Meyer down. Sandy Dunn moves away on the Jam now. She is now the jammer. She has a pivot helmet on, but she has all the rights of a jammer. Sandy Dunn moving up. Saunders is back to the block, and Saunders wants this opportunity. Sandy Dunn moving up. Rosetta Saunders back there for the Bombers. They both go down off that hard block by Saunders. Tucker's back there now. She hammers a block into Sandy Dunn. Saunders has come on. It's my turn. The pack is slowed to a walk. So they can block. The pack's not pulling away from them, so they're not losing any distance on the pack. Moreland fighting to get back there. Moreland coming back now, but she's hit by Saunders. Tucker, now Saunders and Sandy Dunn. They're really working over. Time runs out on the Jam, but Saunders doesn't quit. And Tucker doesn't quit. And Saunders again. The Bombers are going to hurt. Now Moreland gets it from Saunders. Again. And Tucker gives it to Moreland. Bombers are going to lose two skaters on this Jam. That's for sure. Wire gets it in there. Families each way on Saunders and Tucker. And the Chiefs are being picked up off the track. And roaring here in San Francisco. The people on the Chief Network, of course, realize naturally a highly partisan crowd, just as it is in New York, New Haven, or Boston. And the Chiefs are home, but they will be shortly, and they'll be there against this Bomber club. Saunders and Tucker to the penalty boxes. Bombers will go with three skaters. Little Carol Peanuts Meyer puts on that pivot helmet. Carol Meyer with the pivot helmet now.
The Bombers, of course, still hopeful that Margie Lazo gets back in the lineup before the playoffs, but we should have a report on that shortly.
Out on the Jam, it's Kathy Pulliam. She is smart. She's cut it off right now, but she's worked on by Judy McGuire and hammered down to the track. And Judy McGuire moves away for the Chiefs, so they have the only jammer out on the play. There are three Bombers in the pack. If those three are passed by Judy McGuire, he will get credit for the two in the penalty box. Carol Meyer is going to have to do the job of the Bombers. 33-29 is the score. Carol Meyer back to the box. Judy says, give me some help. Sandy Dunn doesn't do it on her own. Carol Meyer puts her down. Little Carol working on the Flashing Blonde. Judy McGuire again. Carol with the block. And again, she doesn't even wait for Judy to get up. On the track comes Saunders and Tucker. They're back in action. They've rejoined it. Behind the pack, Carol Meyer too far. She's going to draw a penalty. Here comes Sandy Dunn backwards. He hits Carol, but Carol took McGuire down the crossing. Judy, Sandy Dunn hanging by the skates out on the track. It's kicked the rest away by Tucker. Sandy Dunn was helpless there. The skates fell on the rail, hanging down, and Tucker came back to finish the job. McGuire Spread Eagle. This Bomber club showing everything they've got, including skates, fists, and elbows. 33-29 the score. Well, Tucker will be long for the track. I don't know. No point was awarded that I saw, and yet Carroll was quite away from the pack and Jack Judy McGuire again. Nobody's looking. She gets away with it. Takes away. Arms off spread. It didn't hit anybody. Half Judy is down here, Spread Eagle. Director George Lum getting all the good shots out there. Later on my camera. John Anderson, Larry Landis, Bernie Fields. That's the tools. John Straub, Don Jackson. Floor director Stanley Potter.
I wonder what kind of reception this Bomber team is going to get, Walt, when they have to go back to the seats home Saratoga State.
The Bombers didn't lose anybody in penalties that time. I don't know where the officials were. Tucker put Sandy Dunn the rest of the way over the track. They've got Carroll in the back, though. All four girls have Carroll Peanuts Meyer. They're working on her. They've got a jammer coming up, too. He scored and cut it off. Carroll's left on the track. Debbie Thompson, Sandy Dunn, Judy McGuire, Carol Mullen, all four girls had Carroll Meyer, and they were really working her over.
Just a technical error on the part of the Chiefs. Well, they had on 3 jamming helmets. That's illegal. But if you look on the track right now, one of them just left. They had 3 jammers on the blade. You can't do that, therefore that wipes out their score.
That's amazing. I couldn't figure out what happened. I knew the rule was going to go against them, but I couldn't figure out why.
And you have to say something. With all that's going on out there, Bill Morrissey and Hugh Campbell, who we often say, well, gee, they didn't see everything, that was a pretty good call.
Because that is actually the first time in my memory that I've seen that play call. Well, just like the play O'Connell's going to use in the last period. Look out, they've got Saunders now. There's Hobby for the point. They're picking out a bomber and working her over, and her jammer is going by for the point. Tucker gets in there. Saunders a little wobbly right now. Another point in there. That point counted for the Chiefs. They have 30 now. The Bombers have 33.
You know, we get a lot of letters from people say, how can we get one of these great teams to come to our city, and how big an area do you have to play on? Well, we can set up this track on any basketball court. So if you'd like to have a game scheduled in your area for charity purpose, that is non-political and, of course, no profit, and you have a gym at a high school or college or an arena, 6.25, to be right to booking. Post office box 1827, Oakland, California, 94604.
Here come the Chief Jammers. They've got a bomber again. There's 2 points this time. They have 2 jammers out there. And they're still blocking after the play, and Bill Morrissey comes down here. Now, he might call a penalty. There certainly was action after the jam ended. He does not call a penalty. All skaters stay on the track. 2 points for the Chiefs. They have 32, and the Bombers have 33. Jerry, how about the Indianapolis Speedway?
Well, the only problem we have there is the cars cannot stay on this track. Now, we've had bicycles and midget cars, but I'm afraid that the safety factor of this track is about 9 miles an hour for an Indianapolis-type cars.
Here we go. Jam's being formed. Jam will get underway. The back is already moving. 33-32. The Bombers lead by 1. 2.5 minutes to go in this period. Then were the men on the track for that big 8th period and the final big explosion of this game. Chiefs and the Jolters closing out the gear here in the Bay Area, and they open shortly east on Chicopee Station. The Bombers in their home appearance as they start the 1973-74 season. Here is Judy in scoring position. Carroll Meyer blocked out by Moreland and Sandy Dunn at the point, and Judy who then cut off the jam. And that ties up 33-33, and the strategy is certainly paying off here for the Chiefs, Jerry.
Well, they're going on just one man, and you think the Bombers would start to compensate. I should say one person.
Gloria Steinen's going to be man.
Well, I'm using man in the generic sense, which refers to all species of Homo sapiens.
That'll make her madder than ever.
At any rate, Walt, I forgot what I was going to say.
I just wait for you and Gloria Steinem to get on the same panel show, Jerry, in New York.
Maybe we can get a match race in Madison Square Garden. 6 laps, anything goes.
Judy McGuire on the jam, and Carroll Peanuts Meyer taking off in pursuit for the Bombers now. Judy in the block. Here comes Sandy Dunn to give McGuire some help. He takes over the blocking on Carroll Peanuts Meyer now, letting Judy McGuire move out on the jam. Carroll gets by Sandy Dunn. Little Peanuts having a tremendous game. But Judy there to slow her down again. It's hard 2-on-1. And Sandy Dunn takes off. And getting by McGuire is Carroll Meyer now. Moving in Sandy Dunn. Rosetta Saunders back to the block for the Bombers, 36. This Carroll is giving them fits on this jam. There she goes. Got the lead. Moving up. They're chasing her. McGuire and Dunn. Carroll, Saunders over the top of Carroll into both skaters, and down they go. Carroll cut off by Moreland, but goes by. He might not might get 3, and then look like you didn't get any, but you got 1. 34-33, the Bombers lead the Chiefs. 28 seconds to go here in the 7th period of play. There's Carroll.
It's hard to believe that she's only been back in action a week after being out all of that time, Walt, with the injury. She really is in great form.
Here we go. They got a skater. Oh, Danny Dunn throws herself in there, but she ran into McGuire instead. As Saunders, Tucker, and Carol Meyer has McGuire. And now Saunders. They've got Sandy Dunn. And Carol Meyer and Julie McGuire going at it. Hammer and Tom holding and hitting. That way you can't get away from your opponent. Finally, a drop kick attempted by McGuire to escape. It missed, and down she went. Oh, man. What a finish to the 7th period. And that is the end of the 7th period of play with the score. The Bay Area Bombers 34 and the Chiefs 33. Walt and Gary Seltzer here at Park and Kezar Pavilion, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. The Bombers lead the Chiefs 34-33, and here we go into the 8th and final period of play, and let's see what the coaches have in mind in this period. Take the roof off Kezar Pavilion. The Bombers go with 4 skaters. Penalty from that last jam of the girls. Costing the skater for this period. Penalty time has to be used up. And the leaders on the jam are 2 Chiefs. Larry Lee, 44, Mike Gammon, 45. Del Rosco in trouble. Put the blow down the rail. A bundle of points for Gammon and Larry Lee. Could be 6 points. It is 6 points in there for the Chiefs.
Well, I would have to say that is not the jam that Charlie O'Connell had in mind that he was talking about. Because that gives the Chiefs now a big 5-point lead in this last period.
39-34. Connell up in the infield. Talking to the skaters as they go by. He'll be in action in a moment. Sets out the first couple jams so he can come in there fresh. His face has really paid off for the Chiefs, the Bombers. Don't forget, on the Chief Network, the Bombers are going to be the Chiefs' first opponent back there to open the fall season. Here we go. Dantel has the lead, but Perez and Early moving on him. Here comes Tony Roman for the Bombers. Dantel to Callan. Moving up now on Perez. Roman. Double blocks, and they got him. Tony Roman and Bob Dantel moving here for the Bombers on the play. Perez gets up early, and he's dealt it by somebody in the pack, and down he went again. They're both behind the pack now. They'll have to block back there. John Early, 47. Joe Perez, 43. The only men in scoring position, 34. Dan Sell of the Bombers and Tony Roman, 37 of the Bombers. Double block set up in there. Roman blocked out of there. Dan Sell blocked out of there. Perez and Early doing the job out there. Roman fighting in there. He's hit again. Dan Sell can't get to it. They're covering a lot of track out there. Early and Perez. So is Roman and Dan Sell, but no points have been picked up yet. Time running short on the jam. High on the rail off that block. Moving again. Roman up there to challenge. He's hit in there by Perez. Early hit Dantel. They're both down, and they did the job for the Chiefs. No points scored. Joe Perez, John Early were out on the jam. The double was decked in there by Roman. And Dantel then rejoined the pack and did the blocking job for the Chiefs. No points picked up, but still the Chiefs 39 and the Bombers 34. People,
of course, all over the country want to know, how can these skaters go 10 months a year? And the answer, of course, is the great conditioning. You see it here. It's nearing the end of the long season. Coming up soon, the playoffs out here. Then the teams take a break for about a month. Then the Easter season starts again, Walt. Quite a bit of activity.
Well, these are the greatest skaters in the world today in the bank track. These are the skaters you see in all the major arenas in the United States. The Oakland Coliseum Arena, the San Francisco Cow Palace, the Amphitheater in Chicago, Madison Square Garden, Long Island Arena in Comac, Nassau Arena.
You want to emphasize that, Walt. If you don't see the skaters on this telecast each week, they're not the top flight skaters.
Not even a good facsimile. Here we go. Larry Lee out there. Caught between Pete Boyd and Chris Rowe. Rowe to the inside. Grabs the lead in the jam. Number 32 for the Bombers. Bill Groh back there blocking hard on Chris Rowe. Another block by Bill Groh. Larry Lee hit hard by Pete Boyd, 36 of the Bombers. Mike Gammon helping in there. Chris Rowe is down. Now Larry Lee trying to score. Pete Boyd grabbed and passed in there. Blocking was legal, though. Mike Gammon blocking. O'Connell on the track now blocking Larry Lee. Larry Lee, I believe, has 1 point. Over the rail goes Rowe. Put there by Bill Groh. Pete Boyd went back to help out, but too late. 1 point for the Chiefs. They now lead 40-34 over the Bombers. fact, the skaters you see here are seen by more people, I would imagine, Jerry, than any athlete in any sport in the United States.
We certainly are. 140 station networks in the United States, on Armed Forces Network throughout the world. Many of these people are better known than almost any other athlete.
2 weeks ago, we had the letter from Thailand. That was one of the rules where you can become a skater. Dansell out on the jam. Tony Roman out for the Bombers, and it's John Early and Joe Perez moving here for the Chiefs. These four have been battling throughout the entire game. There's action in the back, too, action on the jam. All over the track. Bill Grohl and O'Connell at the rear of the pack, keeping an eye on each other. Down they go. All four jammers are down. That cost them a lot of valuable space. Time. Space to drop the body gang and back. At the other end, it's Dansell and Perez starting to throw punches. Early moves in on Roman now. These four jammers have been battling it out on the track. Now they're battling with punches on the track and on the infield. Roman clobbering away at John Early. Decks into the helmet. Dansell is decked and fighting up, and Roman takes a swing at Perez, and he goes down. Roman picks up Early and kicks him down. And Dansell kicks Early. There could be penalties all ways, but maybe additional fines for Roman and Dansell. Oh, man. They forgot about their jam. Early and Perez are still down. Bombers are going to go with three skaters in this next jam. Bill Grohl arguing with Bill Morrissey about some call out there. Can't blame him for arguing if it's only equal penalty this way.
Of course, there is the rule that if a skater is defending himself or herself, Warriors sign him, that a penalty should not be called. But I guess the official figure that both are aggressive.
O'Connell's putting on a jammer. Well, that's natural. The three skaters, you got to go two jammers and blocker. It's all exciting, but still exciting. O'Connell can jam in this play. He's wearing a jammer's helmet. Three skaters from each team out there. O'Connell's jumping through that pack.
This might be the play.
Boyd whipped him out. He's moving now on Mike Gammon. O'Connell and Gammon, the two of the greatest in the bank track out there. O'Connell on the side, decks Mike Gammon. Charlie O moving here for the Bombers. It's trailed by 6. And it passes the 3 on the track. He gives credit for the 2 in the penalty box. Remember that. O'Connell moving. He's got blocking. Pete Boyd and Alvin Mallory throwing the pack down. Bill Grohl back there to protect for the Chiefs. Charlie O'Connell looking for skating room. Eyeing each other out there. A couple of big tigers ready to tear each other apart. And it's the Chiefs with a pull away. The Chiefs with a pull away. Mallory leading. Pete Boyd is leading Charlie O'Connell. A pull away here by the Chiefs. A double whip coming up to Charlie O'Connell. He's moving behind now. It's Charlie against the 3 of them. Look at him go.
A 3-man jump block.
Everybody's standing, applauding O'Connell, showing you why he's the all-time great. He wasn't only going to score, he wanted to take him out of there, and he did all 3 men with 1 block.
Well, that's almost a testimonial on how to become the greatest skater in the world. And if you would like information on how to become a roller derby skater and enter a training school, write to Roller Derby Training Centers, Post Office Box 1827, Oakland, California 94604, and we will send you information.
40 to 39, 5 points. Charlie got credit for the 2 in the penalty box. I think he could have got it without that block, but he saw a chance and he took all 3 and out of there. Now here we go again. 40 to 39, 4 minutes to go in the game. Dansell chasing the Chief Jammer, and that man is Joe Perez. Each team to win. Bill Grohl breaking away from the pack. Dansell was decked. Bill Grohl moves on him. He'll put him back in the pack now. So the Bombers have no threat out. The only threat is Joe Perez moving here for the Chief 43. That a sizable lead was wiped out just like that, except for 1 point. Tony Roman, the jammer, has to block back there. He's not out on the jam. Joining the man in is Joe Perez, 43. Bill Grohl working on Charlie O'Connell at the rear of the pack. He's got O'Connell in trouble. If Perez can get by. O'Connell has been passed for a point. Now Roman blocked out by Bill Grohl. That's 2 points for Perez, who's now blocked out by Jim Cook. Roman out here on the floor. 2 points in there for Perez and the Chiefs. Blocking by Bill Grohl. They lead the Bombers 42 to 39. Trekkers, the trainer here, checking with Tony Roman.
trainer here, Andrei Deke, a great soccer player, Walt, member of the official soccer team for Hungary, was on one of the national professional soccer teams in the United States, and just loves roller derby. Still plays soccer, but just in his spare time now.
You got to take up football. They've almost taken over the game.
Football's too dull.
Here we go. Both teams at full strength. And it's Larry Lee for the Chiefs. And Bill Groh is going out to give him company. The Bombers failed to take anybody out on this play, and they trail by 3. 2.5 minutes to go in the game. Bill Groh will jam. He gets the whip from Larry Lee. Bill Groh moving by himself now. O'Connell drops back to block. He's got to do the job. The Bombers have no offensive threat on this play. The Chiefs have Bill Groh. O'Connell with the block of Bill Groh. Pete Boyd keeping an eye on the action back there. Chiefs can't get a blocker back there to help out Bill Groh. O'Connell directing traffic. He's putting blocks on Bill Groh at the same time. Perez on the infield is actually skating with the track. Look at Pete Boyd. There the appointment penalty there. Physically, the Chiefs are hurting. That ended the jam. Pete Boyd throwing that 235 pounds around in there. One Chief point, they lead 43-39, a minute 40 to go in the game. I don't know if Bill Groh and Mike Gammon can go this jam. Gammon is, Bill Groh is, he's got just too much guts to get off that track. He'll stay there. He's hurting. Watch it now, this could be the last game. A jam in the game now, 43-39. Coming right down to the wire. Don't forget to have an interview with Charlie O'Connell at the end of this game. Perez is going to jam, but Roman cuts him off and grabs the lead. Tony Roman in front. Joe Perez after him. Rear the pack. Charlie O'Connell and Bill Groh. Keep an eye on the action. It's happening all over the track on this jam. 43-39, the Chiefs lead. Tony Roman has the lead on the jam. Best you can hope for is a tie here, because there are only 4 men in the pack. Man's out on the jam. Bombers really got it tough right now to try and pull this one out of the fire. Perez being blocked out by O'Connell. O'Connell hammers into the track. O'Connell moving up now to give Roman some help. Charlie O with a head of steam coming out of the turn. Talking to Tony Roman. Here they go. The hammer still throws the deck. He moves into that pack. He's hammered. Walker's out of there. They're in Gammon. There they go. He's got 4. He puts it off. No points. O'Connell a penalty for slugging. No points. O'Connell draws a penalty for slugging. It's strange he wasn't called earlier. Points before that should have been allowed. I don't know when he called that one, Jerry.
I think he called it right on the first player, and frankly, Walt, I think he was right. O'Connell went in with the forearm smash forward, and you can't do that.
Well, that's the win here for the Chiefs. And the play by Roman to tie it up was nullified. O'Connell illegal blocking. As the jam started there, the first point. No points were allowed. And the final score in this game, don't forget about an interview with Charlie O'Connell in a moment, the final score, the Bay Area Bombers 39 and the Chiefs 43. Charlie, that last play, due to the penalty that, well, do you think it was a good call by the officials or what? Did you get carried away with yourself?
That's about all it was. I got hit in the nose by Bill Groh, and I probably fractured it, and it got me a little upset, and I decided to cave some heads in. And that's exactly what I did. By doing that, I guess I might have blown the game. If they want to throw the blame on anybody, I'll take the rap.
Charlie, when this game started tonight, and it certainly didn't change all the way through the game, and it's happened before, when your Bombers get against the Chiefs, the titles they've won, the titles the Bombers have won, do you think this creates a tremendous rivalry between the two clubs? That when you get out there, there's a little extra going for you, or for them too?
Well, I think it has that has a lot to do with it, but it has, the main thing, it has Mike Gammon against the Tony Roman, who's considered the 2 fastest men on the track. You got a Perez over there, and you got a Dansell on my side. That's a key factor going there. Groh's trying to fill my shoes that I used to have in New York, and that's a kingpin there trying to take me. So, actually, that's what happens when you put us two together. We're all trying to compete against each other, trying to outdo each other. Unfortunately, we blew this game, but most of the year we've been undefeated as far as losing series, so we have a good shot of cleaning house all over the place.
Well, you say that, and yet again, let's face facts. You're opening against the Chiefs when they open their fall live season. It's not going to be the same club we just saw. It's going to be those Gators, but they have added Bob Woodbury. Now, what kind of a thing this Woodbury added to this club, do you think is going to be a big factor to them, a big help to them, or what?
Well, let's put it this way. Woodbury's been passed around like a shoehorn. He's gone from team to team, and actually they do need a big guy on that team. Grohl isn't big enough yet. He's still, he's short and husky, and he hits like hell, but he's not the tall man that they need. Now, whether or not Woodbury's going to be the right guy or not, that's another thing. That's between Grohl and Mike. I think it's going to goof him up because Woodbury in the past, 12 years, he never skates a team play game. He skates for himself. He goes crazy, gets the team penalties, and they all score over him.
But he's got tremendous talent.
Anybody in the roller derby's got talent. I never take away that their ability isn't great. It has to be to stay with the roller derby. And I do give credit to the Chiefs team. They're strong, but they're awful small, and they need height. And that's the main game now. It's a lot of beat.
Scotty, have you ever regretted leaving the Chiefs club?
Oh, no. No. When I had my trouble with the people that ran it back there, and my family wanted me home. So I had to leave it. Even though I gave them their championship there for all that years, now Bird Brain Atkinson's running around. I guess he's with the Pioneer Club now. He gets fired from that team, and they go and hire him over there. So I don't know what's going on. But I don't regret nothing. I still love my home base back here.
Good enough, Scotty. Thanks for talking.
Thank you, Walt.
Scotty O'Connell, the Bombers were